One. All right. Welcome to Vibe Osmosis. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's been chill. It's been chill. So
Take a
I
sip of
listened to
tea.
your new album out. That's a threat. Go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah. Um, I'm Cami Alvarez. I started this band Period Bomb 10 years ago. I scream, and as of the past like 6 years or so, I play noise guitar. Um, dabble on some other things. I like write some of the songs on bass, but I've had a lot of talented people around me, so I don't have to haven't gotten very good at instruments, and I definitely didn't know how to play anything when I started the band. So I
Now,
mean, like maybe a tiny bit. But
now I remember whenever I almost counted. I think it's been 9 years. 9 years ago, I went out to the Miami Art Basel. I was like 18. Came across you guys playing,
cool.
or yeah, came across you guys on the beach or whatever, and ever since then, I think I've always remembered to check out your music. I don't know if you might remember, but it was like me and a group of friends, a lot younger, and
Was it like
we
a
got
tiny
like high on
bar?
the yeah, we got high on the beach, South Beach, before the Candy Mountain Festival thing.
Wait, what? Big Noise Candy Mountain?
Well, whenever you were playing at like it's like what Candy Mountain Festival or something like that. Um, I remember it was like you and LP and these guitarists from like
Yeah,
Japan or something. Long
yeah.
time ago.
Trash, Trash Mountain Vortex, some shit like that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
What a flashback indeed. I know.
Yeah.
So,
That was I think the first DIY festival I ever threw. It was,
well,
it was my first introduction into like pretending like we were throwing a big fancy festival when it was like we called it Trash Vortex Mountain because like we made everything out of trash and it was insane.
so do you have a favorite memory of working on music now?
Oh man. Like working on it from conception. Hmm. I'm honestly most of my songs are like pretty dark, so like it's yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite memory. Like, and here in Florida, since I moved back here, it's been extremely difficult too. I mean, like when I started the band, yeah, it was all based around really dark context, and I was writing it in a closet. Um, only place I felt like I could safely get away in my friend's closet. Do this kind of thing. And then I had to leave under, the worst circumstances, came back here, just like crashing on my parents' couch. They're like throwing holy water on me and trying to give me exorcisms and shit because they thought I was possessed, doing this band and stuff. And eventually met people at the noise conference, the International Noise Conference here, to play music with and at Churchill's, and then started living pretty quickly with someone who became my partner for like the next 7 years, DJ. And we had like a shitty little like storage unit with no AC that was like extremely hot. And we made some more like kind of fun tunes occasionally there, mostly DJ, writing those like Macho Bird, tap dancing. The one they made it to this album, some of the best songs. DJ is a great songwriter. Just like really like kind of more surreal, theatrical type of vibe. So those were kind of fun, even though it's extremely hot.
Now, do you know what your name means?
um,
like the meaning behind it.
I mean, do we really know anything? Like, you know, that was one of the more lighthearted, cute moments too. I was trying to start the band with someone I had just met at Don Bull's Hush Club, which is Don Bull's granddaughter, Casey Proudfoot, who just
Okay.
showed up um, to meet her grandpa, surprise him, and he's like, I live in like my practice space. Like, where are you gonna stay? And she ended up staying with me. I was like just homeless for a long time before that, and I finally had a room, and I was like, everybody stay with me.
Yeah.
I got a free organ, moved it in. I was like trying to install this like free jacuzzi. They were like, no. Like I was like just going like balls out, like first week of living in a house with random people. It's pretty funny, thinking
I'm
back. But
I'm a really big fan of living in your practice space and art space. Even though like it might be
yeah,
like a shared bathroom or you might not have a bathroom or anything, at least like you're still
yeah,
like always in the space that you need to be to like work on what you want to. It's good in like I guess moments, you know, waves.
yeah.
Until yeah, until like whenever you finally get that comfortability of like having your own space to also live and work on music, do you think that kind of affected the way that you worked on music?
Yeah, like being, once you put yourself in a space like that and you just like all you have is like your instruments and some weed or whatever, like yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite artists are like that. I think Sloppy Jane still lives in her practice space in New York, or she did for years. Definitely Ariel Pink. Like he
Yeah.
was a huge influence on making making music to begin with, and um, definitely some of my more fun moments making music were with him. And a few other people that a few other LA absurdists that are awesome. Shout out to Tomcat and um there's not that many people though that like you really like gel with perfectly and the vibe is perfect and
Yeah.
you don't get
Definitely.
distracted and you actually make music.
Yeah.
I also made a really dope like complete collab. I've done two collab tapes. One in the UK with this guy I met at a party in LA at the beginning of Period Bomb. His band's called Marterials, and our split is like Period Bomb Marterials, and we just all improv, just go go go, and all like pop hits. Like honestly, like that shit was even more impressive than the stuff me and Ariel have whipped out. Like they're fucking catchy. I suggest that split. And this other one is harder to find, but it's called like Creature Carousel. And it
That's
was
right.
like,
Yeah.
you've heard that?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm also like a fan of the progression and changes that you've done throughout the years. And I kind of wondered like what kind of inspires you to still always mix it up or never do like the same thing twice?
um, I don't know. I just like, I just go where I'm inspired. And these random guys from Long Beach sent me their music. They're called Three Armed Men, and it was like some of the most like brilliant but absurd lyrics I've ever heard. And the music was fucking awesome. And I was like, yeah, like let's collab. And we whipped out Creature Carousel, and it was super fucking cool. Yeah, their lyrics more than anything. Like that guy, he's just like, I don't know what he does for a living. He's just like a random dad, and he just can whip out these fucking absurd but brilliant lyrics. Like fucking
And
awesome. And also here in Miami, like probably my favorite person to collaborate with, although we haven't really made like the pop hit yet that I feel like we could.
yeah,
We always just kind of like get really crazy and trippy is Dino Felipe. He is fucking awesome.
I will take a look.
He's
With Threat, I'll go into a little bit of like the recording process on this one. So
Oof.
like yeah, like one of the ones I'm really into. the numbers game. So like yeah, like what's
Mm.
kind of like your process on like working on that stuff? Is it like lyrics and then like the music, or are you trying to like build track by track and then you add the lyrics, or how does it work for you?
Actually, that one was completely improvised.
Yeah, all
Um,
of it?
that
Really?
whole song, yeah. Those the last three, or not the last three, but the second to last three songs, um, were all done on this half Japanese ADAT machine. You know the band Half Japanese?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I need to clarify. It's not that the machine is half Japanese. um, the machine belonged to half Japanese and was used for a lot of their stuff in the '90s and a lot of the Jadfer, Jason Willett stuff, which I'm a huge fan of. And they just stopped using it because it was just difficult, you know, like to transfer and stuff. And it was just sitting in Jason Willett, who produced most of the album's basement for decades. And then for my birthday, he whipped it out and used it for the first time since the 90s. He's like, I haven't tested it. It's like a bitch to like set up and test, but I'll do it for you and hopefully it works. And it did. It sounded great. It's got that same like crunchy sound that they had, and it just gave us this extra boost and energy to just come up with really dope stuff that day. And that one was completely improvised, but it's like me trying to think of all the people who've been in my band. There's been like 30 people in the band, so that's me like kind of talking about them off the top of my head. And the other song we did was an old song we never recorded that Gladys wrote, Anormal, where I'm on drums. And actually, that might be the only two that made it to the album. We did some pretty wacky, fun ones that night too, actually.
The Moon song, what would you say was like the recording process on that? Was it like instrumental first and then stuff later, or how did the like, overdubs and everything happen?
Um, we just like did that one kind of last minute here. Uh, so after we had so many tribulations recording in Baltimore. I mean, first there's like the pandemic hits. Well, actually, the first thing was that I what ended up in a house sharing a wall, a very thin wall, with a guitarist from Animal Collective, and like as much as I haven't like listened to that band that much in my adult life, like they're still super influential, and he is just super nice, and I barely know how to play guitar, and I just felt like I was annoying him so bad.
Yeah, like I feel like
So
there's always like they definitely know I'm playing, but like it's got to get done.
yeah, yeah, it's I felt almost like embarrassed with every note. Like it kind of stifled me. Like I was on a streak before moving to Baltimore where we were like touring like most months out of the year because we were living for free at DJ's grandma's house. And it's not the happiest of situations. And we just like, we'll be home for like a month or two and be like, let's get back on the road. Oh, somebody
Yeah,
wants us to play a house show in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or like fucking some random town. Like, let's fucking go. I don't care.
yeah.
Let's make a tour for it, you know? Um, and then I would just go with like I had to start playing guitar because my guitarist fell in love in LA. Lasted like 48 hours, but
That's
um
how it
decided
happens.
to stay there. Yeah, and I just had like my bandmates just pressured me into just like rubbing the guitar with something. And so that's how I started playing, but I never really like I just had all this adrenaline and I wouldn't really like look even really at what I'm doing or analyze it too much. It just like the overall sound worked and stuff. And then like when I get to Baltimore and I'm trying to write new music and record it for a more serious album and I'm like deconstructing my guitar methods and I played my first show in front of Josh from Animal Collective and I'm like I just like completely lost my mojo for a minute. Like I was just like forgot how to do whatever the fuck I was doing. I'm like, what am I doing? Like so there was that, and then shortly after the pandemic hits and that fucking landlord like doubles our rent.
That's how
And
it
then
went. Yes.
not for everybody, but we like really got the fucking worst. The pandemic was so bad for us. Like we had to first I got like a cat sitting gig, which saved us for a little bit, but then I just like needed to stay at my friend's house like 2 more nights after staying there like 2 nights. And she was like, I'm not gonna ask my roommate for that. And like so we had to just we were looking for places and we had to just fucking drive all the way back to Florida. We had to like borrow money. Like we're always broke, you know, like we always have just
That's
enough. We have
it's
enough
such
for
a it's such
emergency.
a fun drive. Anywhere you go in Florida, I think, even though that the highways are a bitch, I feel like there's still always that kind of like a rush and like an adrenaline that's going on because of how like long the drive is. Like I've driven, like down to like Miami areas like many times from Ohio growing up. And I
Mhm.
feel like every single time it was like here we go again on a journey. Like you
Yeah.
never know what you're gonna expect. And also to mention, like you played a lot of shows. Do you have like a favorite place that you played at?
I don't know. I it's hard. It's hard to pick. Like these days I do, once you have the taste of good sound, like you play so much better like when you can hear
Yeah.
yourself. So like now I'm like starting to get, you know, like it's like once you see the light through the tunnel, you're like blinded or some shit or whatever, like, you can't go back. So it's like yeah, I like playing like TVI in New York recently. That was really good sound and like
I've
this
heard
really
good
nice
things.
venue and that would let us play for some reason in San Antonio. Paper Tiger was always cool. And um there's like fucking nowhere in Miami in my hometown. Well, actually, forever we had Churchill's, and like that was like the only place we were allowed to play here. We
Drive.
played Gramps, huh?
Yeah, it's a little drive though.
To Churchill's?
Yeah.
No,
But
everything's in the north of Miami.
yeah, about to say if you're south,
Yeah.
I'm always a South Beach guy.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
so here's a
yeah,
funny
that
vibe
was.
osmosis question. So if you were stranded on an island and you could only take one thing with you, what would you bring?
Oh my gosh. Let me take another sip of coffee. Hold on, you're going too fast.
Only one thing.
Um, Probably this.
I've never tried. Is that like a jerky? Oh, yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, very
It's
interesting.
Doritos with Tapatio and weed.
And
So you
weed.
got
Okay.
you got
Yeah,
three essentials in one. Sometimes like you just need the spice in life.
I'm a
You
fan.
need the substance of cheese and crackers, and you
Yeah,
need some weed.
and
So
weed.
this is like my favorite thing I found at Art Basel this year. Shout out to Steph who gave it to me, and yeah, it's my new favorite
I
thing.
would definitely say that's the best thing you could bring to an island. That's bringing the party.
Well, yeah, because then you have coconut water already there, so you're good.
Good point. Yeah, it's survival instinct. So, do you have like a favorite movie of all time or favorite movies?
Um, Favorite movies. I'm a fan of like the old classics, like Sunset Boulevard and stuff. Like, I don't know, like especially since I left LA in shitty circumstances, I guess. Like I romanticize like the old Hollywood um films and stuff a little bit. Um and what was another one like that I really love? I mean, I love like everything David Lynch and Hodorowski. Um,
I'm a really big fan of David Lynch, and for some reason I'm still like I'm not gonna give up Woody Allen movies. I've been like
Me too,
anticipating this
man.
new one. Yeah.
It's fucked up. Okay, like that's one that I'm like, that's your fucking adopted daughter. Like that is death. textbook definition of grooming. Like, come
It might
on.
be, but I mean,
But
you got to give it to him. He's made some really interesting movies.
yeah, man. I was just watching, I have on VHS Sleeper. I just
Oh,
rewatched
that's a
that one.
classic.
So good. It's actually really fucking on point about like what's happening now. Like
Yeah,
especially when they
yeah.
talk about art and how like art, like, you know, obviously it's like all commodified and like corny as fuck in the future. And
Good point right there.
um they talk about how artists only see beauty and shit like that. I was like, motherfuckers on point. What else do I got over there? Oh, John Waters. I love polyester.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great shout out.
Fucking so good. And love the movie Society. That's like one random
Society.
one I would recommend. It's like the best 80s body horror, but it's also like about society and like really on point too, I'd say.
Now, what would you say music you've been listening to lately, like that you would also recommend, or you like have maybe like a guilty pleasure voice listening to?
Honestly, both. I have to say, Ariel Pink, like, I listen to him way too much.
His new stuff is awesome.
Yeah, and
That's
like
what I'm saying.
I literally like have to listen to it right now. I have an excuse, because we're gonna put out Never Made a Demo on tape for him through
Very
Crosslips,
cool.
our
Nice.
label.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that release.
This is our label. It's got almost 100 releases. Um, Crosslips
Very cool
Records.
shout out.
And I'm very proud of it. All the releases are fucking awesome. I don't really know too many other labels I'd want to be on with this many cool releases. So,
Well, I think like
um,
labels now have really like changed even the way that artists view them and like even like listeners, people that don't make music. It's a whole different kind of ball game in that perspective. And also like whenever you're working on music, do you kind of like sit and like write like your own ideas before you go into, you know, like start like jamming and like playing like your instruments, or do you kind of go for instruments first and try to find out like what you like to play?
um, it's definitely really hard for me to just like be like, oh, I'm going to sit and come up with some idea, some
Yeah,
theme, like something that is cool. Write it down. Like I can't really do that. The context, the words have to just kind of come to me. It's always something that I'm thinking about. I'm very like ADD and hyper focused on like whatever it is I'm focused on,
yeah,
and
that makes sense.
so I
What
just
would you say? So would you say like a lot of it comes from subconscious ideas then?
um definitely. Okay, I also do like jam a lot, and I used to I feel like I used to have more um just a lot more words, like a lot coming to me,
Yeah,
especially when I was playing shows all the time, because that's my favorite thing, and that's like where my adrenaline comes from. But now, definitely, you know, if I push myself, rather than to push myself to write something down, like that's like out of nowhere without having any little seed of, you know, something to go off of.
right.
That's
I
hard.
agree.
But if we're just jamming and I'm feeling it, like we do this, you know, pretty often, me and my band, and I'll just kind of push myself to just start talking about whatever is in my head, and sometimes it comes out cool.
Now here's like a an essential question. I mean, how did the band name get like what's the origin behind that? Like what's the
Oh
birth
yeah, you didn't let me
behind
finish
song?
that. Okay, so I was with Dumble's granddaughter. She was trying to play drums like her grandpa, but she was not very good at it. This other person, Violet, who is good at instruments, but also like just like super ADD, and we're not getting anything done. And me, and we're like, I think me and Casey both had like period cramps, and we're like, oh, we need to like hit the bong first, whatever. And
Yeah.
then and then I think Casey's like, oh, I gotta hit the period bong, and I'm like, did you just say period bomb? And then or something like that. And Violet was like, "That's the name, period bomb." Um,
Whoa.
so yeah, that's how it started. And Violet, who now goes by Iris, is she like followed me to Miami, then to Baltimore, then back to Miami. And more than anything, she's like a dancer in the band, like
The
slash the
hype
audience. Yeah, like she's really good at videos, but
performance too. I think that goes really hand in hand for artists.
yeah.
Now, do you believe in astrology?
Um, Not enough to like really have a lot of interest and know my essential three or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm an
everything about it.
Aquarius on the cusp with Pisces. It does. I do feel like an Aquarius on the cusp with Pisces. I'll give it that.
Okay.
But um,
What do you think about like
yeah,
tarot reading? Do you think like something that's in the spiritual realm is something that you're interested in or try?
yeah. No, I've tried it. It is. I do. Yeah, I really fucking struggle with. I'm like here, like nervously, like sorry, touching things. Like I fucking I literally lost sleep last night, like, because I struggle with the idea of fate and
Fate.
um human.
So what
I
would you
hate
say
it.
is destiny then? Like something that you're like we're born to do, like perform, make art like you do.
It's just like, okay, so I wrote a book and like I've just been processing my story. And like I'm literally tearing up already. Like I fucking am. I've been emotional like the last few days, like really emotional. Like fuck, I just can't believe this is my fucking story. Like I just can't fucking believe it. It's fucking surreal. It's really fucking surreal. I don't I don't know. What does it mean? What the fuck does it mean? I don't know.
That's a really good point. All right, so if you had a time machine though, would you go forwards or backwards? Would you want to like change things or see something differently?
That's a good question. I feel like the future is scary, and
Yeah,
as much as I don't want to live in the past, if I could, if it was like for sure I could change the future by going in the past
right.
and changing something, um, then I would go back in the past, and I don't
What
know
would you
exactly
say
what I would
is
pick.
what would you say is the story behind like meeting Lauren or LP? And what would you say is like, behind like the earlier days of working on music too? Because you've really shifted up your sound to like a more live and direct feel too.
So I I mean, you're like asking like how many more questions do you have?
I only got
Like,
a few more,
do
but
you
the rest of
really
them
want like
are
the an-
funny. These ones I
like
feel
the
like
real
are
answer?
like the true origins of period bomb.
It's I mean, to put it frankly, it started because of rape, you know, and um
Whoa.
I and then I just this the story is fucking crazy. The story is really fucking crazy. That's why I was like getting emotional. Like I'm just like
I'm sorry to hear. I mean, personally, I can edit all this stuff out. And but I mean,
no, I want okay, well, the reason it's so loaded is because like now with this book, like I feel it's really heavy and I feel guilty if what like I was just processing my feelings all these years, seeming and but I've done like too little, too late to get the message out about Troy Herrera being this serial date rapist who raped me and a lot of my early bandmates and friends at the Church of Fun, and putting GHB in the punch there, and he's still free. And a lot of the people there like gaslit us all. That's why I had to leave, and a lot of women had to leave. Um, and um, but like as far as LP specifically, who is iconic, shout out. We met because I did a Craigslist ad. I was just like had enough with people like Violet Casey and not really, and all my other friends like not really coming through, and I was just like, who the fuck wants to start a real feminist band? No musical experience necessary. Just wants to scream. Email periodbomb at Gmail, and the first two girls who showed up, Sara Luna and Alyssa, and I all had the same birthday,
Whoa.
1 year apart.
That
Yeah,
is
if you're
destiny.
interested.
That is true fate.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fucking shit like that, okay? If you want to
Yeah.
fucking read my book, if you're into that shit, you're gonna blow your mind. Um, and then LP shows up late. But we're like, she was like, the rest of us didn't know how to play anything, and she just graduated in classical guitar and was like just getting into electric guitar and like pretty fucking good at it. So we're like, all right, yeah. Um, and Yeah, it was pretty much just like a noise band at first with her playing some riffs and me doing some vocal loops. It was very odd and random, but um,
Yeah.
I'm still about it. And yeah, what was I gonna say? Like, yeah, that's why we started the band.
And I'd say the band has gone pretty far since ever. But also, what would you say is like also like a random fact about yourself? Like, do you have like a hobby? Are you a pet lover? Do you draw?
I do love animals. I've done a lot of dog walking to keep myself afloat on tour and stuff. I love rats. I don't have any right now, but I have
You
had
had
them
some rats
on and off.
before?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had like five
Algernon.
rats. We saved like five rats during the pandemic. They lasted like the 3 years and now they're gone. But they were amazing and they're in some of our recent music videos. I've been uploading, all the music videos I've been working on for 3 years throughout the whole pandemic and good live videos, and nobody's watching them. People used to love our YouTube, and now like everything is just TikTok in like 3 seconds or less, and
True.
like
It is very quick different. I don't
but
understand what's going
yeah.
on right now. What do you think about like the crypto and like the ether realm? Like, are you a fan of like NFTs and that kind of stuff? Are you interested?
I guess I'm kind of interested. I don't know. I want to believe in it, but I feel like it's already been like burning out. Like I got
Yeah,
like a $50 worth of, crypto or whatever to see how it would do, and it hasn't done shit all these years of the pandemic. So
yeah.
I don't know, but my friend Cool School wants to like do some NFT of like Period Bomb and Ariel Pink for the Period Bomb Ariel Pink tour.
Very
I
neat.
don't even know exactly what it is, but it's probably gonna be cool. He's a really cool artist.
Now, would you say that you're a fan of sativa or indica?
Sativa all the way.
Sativa all the way. Do you play any
Yeah.
video games?
No.
No. All right. Would you consider yourself like a Netflix or Hulu or what would you prefer?
I do go on like my parents' Netflix like once in a while when I'm like depressed or like need to go to sleep and watch something kind of boring, but
Yeah.
I only subscribe to this thing called Night Flight that has like older documentaries
Yeah.
on musicians mostly and also like obscure horrors and stuff. It's only
It's a
five
little
dollars a
similar to
month.
Canopy for people that don't know about it.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a cool show on there called I'm so bad at remembering things on the spot. I can't remember. We're gonna be on it soon. Salvador Cresta, one of my favorite artists, has a uh, has a segment on it where he reviews like music, and he's doing a label episode, and he's talking about cross
Very neat.
lips. I
That's
can look it
awesome.
up real quick. It's called fucking
He does some really
uh,
cool artwork.
Salvador Cresta?
Definitely.
He's fucking awesome. Well, just look on his page for whatever he's got like the midnight review on something. What was it? Goon alien? I don't know, some shit like that. I don't know. It's on Night Flight, which is cool.
Now, here's kind of an essential vibe osmosis question. What would your last meal be?
My last meal. I don't know. I'm a fan of fancy mushrooms.
Yeah?
When I was in
Portobello
Baltimore, like
or what kind?
like fancy, like I started
Fancy.
getting into like foraging like really like special mushrooms. I mean, I never like
Okay.
really found too many, but some of my friends would find them and I'd be like, whoa, like I
Go
definitely
for it.
found a lot of like oyster mushrooms and cooked those up, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
dope. Oh my god, when they're fresh. But like sunchoke, oh my god, what? I mean, it just tastes like meat, so it's like if I like meat so much, why wouldn't I just get like really good meat? But I don't know. I've never been into cooking meat, and I just haven't gotten that into like the fine meats or like anything that fancy
Salami
yet.
is a like a mind trick for me because I'm like, how are you telling me like that is salami? It looks like salmon or something in some cases. I'm so mind blown over salami.
Salami looks like salmon to you.
Very nice ones, yes. We're talking
It's
fancy
like,
salami.
whoa. So fancy salami is like orange or what?
Yeah, to me it is. I'm so foreign to it. Like I'm like I would not eat that. Like I've seen like quail eggs and stuff like that. And I'm like I don't think I'm ever gonna try this.
I've eaten quail eggs.
Oh no, I'm like that one
Yeah.
just looks sketchy.
I
But
like when I was really broke, I was like, here's what I would do when I was really broke. Well, one thing is like I was like, you can get this many, whatever eggs or this many quail eggs. If I just like shrink my stomach down, eat like one quail egg a day, I'm actually saving money. And I heard it like has more nutrients.
yeah, I
So
guess it's
I would like
rich.
do that with like a few pieces of arugula. And I also another thing I did was like mono meals, supposedly like eating raw and eating just one thing, like one cantaloupe or like one,
Yeah.
you know, orange at a time. Supposedly, like you soak up the nutrients more. And another thing, okay, this is actually a good story. I would I just had granola and I would have like a little bit of it with like the free milk at the cafe every day, like in a cup, and like put some honey. Honey is good for you, have a bunch of honey. At like Earth Cafe, and then like I was fucking like grimy. Like ask anybody who knew me back then, but I would smoke people's like American spirits and leftover and
I remember those
um
days.
and like eat their leftovers. But I figured, okay, there's this one guy, he looks like really fancy and he leaves like exactly half his chocolate ganache every day.
Oh,
Like, it's better to just like share germs with like one person. So I might as well just like eat this guy's second half every day.
yeah.
So I was like forever. And the guy had such a particular look with the round glasses, mustache. I'll never forget him, right? But then and then I got like super into the band Sparks. Like
Sparks is
after I got kicked
cool,
out of that
yeah.
house, and I was like really homeless for a while, and then I finally got that room in that house, and I'm so happy, and I'm like making music on the organ with like Ariel and Shags and different like amazing musicians in LA and having the best time. And then they fucking kicked me out because I'm like having too much fun all the time and like living off like EBT and this like
Yes.
Obamacare thing
That's
and
how it goes.
whatever. And they're jealous because like she was like an AIDS nurse. Like I feel for her, but like
Yeah.
that's your
Real
life,
real
It's my
work.
life. Like,
I know.
and I get fucking kicked out for like no reason just for being like a few hours late on rent. Um,
Oh
and
man.
she locks my door and like leaves a note like whatever, like I don't know, like I'll see her when I see her, and I
Yep.
get whatever's left in like the communal closet, and all I had in there was like these really shitty boots and like this really shitty jacket, and then there was like one naked tape in the corner, and I'm like, I'm gonna take it and it better fucking be good, or like I want to fucking quit music because like I had like just gone through all this effort to throw my first Psycho Babes festival and it went really well, but then this like person like stole a bunch of the door money and like
Yeah.
everything was like fuck man, like I can't win. Like how difficult is it to like, make music? Like
Yeah.
and so I put on the tape. I'm like smoking a bowl in my car, crying, put on this tape, and one half is Sparks, early Sparks, and the other half is early Cardiacs. And it was
Nice.
like
That's a
the
double
most
tape.
perfect music I
Yeah.
could ever fucking imagine. And I got obsessed. I would just listen to it all the time. And I'm not the kind of person to like look too into musicians for whatever reason. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just like I love music so much. Like I don't want to be disappointed, and I don't want to like
Yes.
have it
I'm
ruin my inspiration.
I'm a really big fan of Prince, but I do not go out of my way to read extra stuff about Prince. And like, I guess there's a book that
Yeah,
is going to come out before he died.
yeah,
And like, I'm like, yeah, I can't even like, I don't want to know the truth. Like, what I get from Purple Rain and like these movies, Cherry Moon and stuff, is good
yeah.
enough.
So, years later, just like last year, I go see the Sparks documentary.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
like a
cool. Yeah,
2-hour intensive
it's
documentary,
very good.
and it shows Ron going to the Earth Cafe in the Arts District I used to go to at
Yeah.
noon every day and eating exactly half a chocolate ganache.
Yeah, that's the spot. Okay.
And I'm like,
That's
that was the
legendary.
chocolate ganache I was eating. I
Yeah,
was
I got to
eating
say, like that's
Ron's
that's the thing.
I
Yeah,
was
that's
eating
insane right there.
Ron's
That might be
chocolate
fate as
ganache.
well.
Bro, what the hell? Like, and like, as soon as the movie started, I was like, I know he's got an iconic look and I might have seen him in some photos somewhere, but why does he feel like more familiar than that?
Holy shit, I
And then
think.
like, yeah, and then like the fucking ganache comes out in the fucking documentary. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Like now I want to make my own documentary and be like, and this is where I would go eat his other half of the chocolate ganache every day.
Yeah. That is one thing that I think is so interesting because like films that take on like biopics and stuff like that, you always are really interested in the aspects of it that are true. Did you ever see the Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
saw.
did see that one actually recently.
I think that one was one of those ones I was like, what the fuck was this film? I was like trying to find out like so you're telling me like Madonna was in this the whole time? Just
Yeah, I
blown.
know, I know. I like that it's like half fake, half real. It's very surreal. I like that aspect to it. I've been wanting to make something like that. Not about us, about just like all these absurdist, like amazing outsider artists I know, and
Right,
their
that'd be very
lives,
cool.
because a lot of them do just like spin in reality into something else and live in this world. Like David Liebehart is one of my booking clients. I'm his booking agent, and he definitely has an interesting take on reality, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Like I don't know if I should make it funny, if I should make it serious, if I
Right,
should
yeah.
make it somewhere in the middle, like both. But yeah, I'm definitely inspired by that.
Now,
You know,
this is
biopics. I mean, there should just be more on fucking outsider artists. Like they okay. Like I get like it's a lot of money and you want to do it to a really famous artist and whatever. But like as far as like just like a TV show, like they're fucking exploiting like people with like strange addictions or like hoarders or
yes, it's
like
a very weird thing with TV right now.
random shit, extreme
Cults.
cheapos, and like they're not gonna exploit outsider artists. Like they don't think that is interesting to people. We're interesting as
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. Yeah, let's just say it's like a whole underground thing that's maybe there on the internet, but maybe not exactly brought to light. And also like I feel like with your music, you kind of translate like a lot of different themes and different ideas. Is that something that you kind of like put in there whenever it's happening, or is that something that you kind of like have like intentionally? especially with like the
No, yeah,
titles.
it's all very autobiographical. It's all true.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
pretty.
That's one thing I think is really interesting about your music because some of it's very direct, but also like you're able to dissect it in different ways and have it kind of like apply to yourself. And I kind of wondered if some of that was like intentional, you know? And also with like recording too. Do you ever like face like any like difficulties like trying to translate like what you're doing like maybe in the studio or at home?
Oh yeah, I hate recording. That's why
Yeah.
it's taken us so long to do like a studio LP. We did Permanently Wet, which was live in a nice studio in Montreal. That was awesome. And honestly, probably if Period Bomb keeps going the way it is, like wouldn't make sense to do more albums like that, just completely live.
Yeah,
Um, we might have a chance to do that right after the Ariel Pink tour. If my
that's right.
bandmates can stick around a few more days. There's a studio there that Ariel used to record at a lot, and I'm like friends with the people too, and they've let me sneak in and do that kind of thing before, where it's like isolated, but you can still hear each other.
Right, okay.
We did Get
Very
Off Me
cool.
Sweaty Boy there, and we did Sucio de Mierda there, or Mujeres Gentiles. Um, and that might be it, but yeah, doing it studio version, like one track at a time, oh, it was brutal. It was really hard to translate
Yeah,
the
yeah.
energy and everything.
What would you
Yeah.
say is like advice to other artists working on projects right now?
Um, just just get it out, just make your demos, record everything, and don't judge anything. And um yeah, those are like the two most important things, I think.
And this one's like the last thing rounding up Vibe Osmosis. Thank you for taking the time to join and answer all these questions. So yeah, go ahead and shout out like what you have coming up currently and current projects and stuff lined up.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I knew there would be a question like this, and obviously, like I'm always thinking about what's next in life, and it's like it's a crazy time for us because like I can't really think of a bigger artist that is like as weird as Ariel Pink who would want us to open for them on a tour. So this kind of feels like the end all be all. Like it's a really crazy time for me. Like it's hard to for me to think what else I would want more. Like I'm really trying to come up with bigger goals and stuff. And like
Right.
he offered for us to do a split together. And we did, I have like some little demos and whatever, but then like we did just whip out this other new song and it's like really good and it's like really serious. Me and my band, it's very like Tuxedo Moony. If you know Tuxedo Moon,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
it's like it's just like more serious and beautiful. It's called The Sane Society. Um, and if we could like come up with more songs like that, you know, maybe recording that in the studio, maybe that'll be the split. But like honestly, I am just so excited like to perform on this tour. Like all I care about is performing more than anything. And like yeah, I don't, it's like fuck. Like I'm already like feeling like the post tour depression for after this tour. I'm like, what do I want after that? Like, yeah, like I want to work on the TV show, but um more than anything, like I'm just like so happy and this tour is gonna be crazy. It's very intense. We're gonna be in front of like probably like close to 1,000 people every night and
Definitely.
I hope everybody makes it through and I hope we're like all friends. And I mean, like, I know Ariel pretty well. Like, I'm not worried about that so much, but it is like, you know, just like a whole different level to our friendship that's like very important to me. And I've been missing like the
Definitely.
era where I was staying with him kind of as his roommate, like, and making a little bit of music with him, but more than even if we put, I don't even like if we put out this split with him or not, like more than anything, like I just want to fucking like chill with him, like watch him make music, like uh
Yeah,
you know, like I don't like, it's like, you know, when all these like big things are at play, like I'm just like trying to think like what's my priority, you know, like you have to think about that with anybody that is your
definitely.
friend or whatever, like what's more important to you, like the friendship or like doing this big, getting this like big record deal or some shit, you know, like
Sure, yeah.
sometimes it's kind of it, you know, it's like you have to like really think about that, what's your priorities and stuff, and like yeah, I'm just like kind of, I'm just kind of overwhelmed right now, and for the first time in my life not feeling like extremely goal oriented, I am just like feeling like really excited for this, and then after that, I don't know, just enjoying it and just seeing what happens. I mean, I'm a booking agent and I enjoy that, so I'll probably like get more clients over there, and I'm sure
Definitely.
make some dope music. But that, yeah,
Goes hand
that's,
in
I guess
hand
those
in
are my
this
goals.
part.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
meeting new cool people. I don't know. Yeah, those are my new goals, I guess.
Well, anybody you want to shout out before we go?
I've shouted out DJ. I should shout out Miguel, who's like our amazing um guitarist who was in the band right when we started and back in Miami. Not right when we started, like when I restarted in Miami, and really helped like inspire me and spearhead the band to be like I didn't have really any examples. I'm not like a big music head, you know, so I didn't have like too many other examples of music that's like noisy and weird but like
Right.
structured and stuff,
Definitely.
and he
Yeah,
showed
I
me
get
so
that.
much good music and really brings the band there with his guitar, and got kind of heartbroken or whatever, you know, it's like you have to like be careful with these things when you have a band. That's some
Yeah.
more advice for you. Like, I mean, I definitely shit where I eat, but like, you gotta be careful with that shit, you know. And
Yeah.
we lost him for 6 years, and that's why, you know, and I had to start playing guitar, and I've been trying to replicate his style, and it's not been the same. And he's finally back, so I'm really happy about that. And shout out to Sebastian, who's been our drummer here, and I'm living in his house now, in Miami for about 6 years now, too. So yeah, it's like we were, you know, back and forth with Baltimore, and I have like different members spread out all throughout like the Northeast and stuff that I can
Right.
call upon for different tours or shows. But this Miami crew, shout out, pretty solid.
Well, I appreciate you taking this time and thank you for joining Vibe Osmosis. I'll keep you updated on all the information on the show, but hopefully it's a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate
I'll keep in
it.
touch.